Hello, and welcome to another episode of Aman's Unfiltered. Today, I want to dive into a topic that I think resonates with almost everyone. And today's topic is called the fear of rejection. Whether it's in a relationship, at work, or even within our own families, right? Rejection is something we all kind of dread. But why is it so difficult for us to face this fear? Why do we let the word no stop us from pursuing our dreams or speaking our truths? So, in this episode, we'll explore the roots of this fear, how it shapes our behavior, and why is it so important to confront them. Now, rejection, I feel, is an experience that many of us would rather avoid than face. It's the truth, but it's the fact. The thought of being turned down or even accepted can kind of be daunting or paralyzing. We kind of often build these walls around ourselves, staying within our comfort zones to avoid any situation that could literally lead to rejection. But in doing so, what do you feel that we could miss out? How about opportunities for growth, connection, and maybe success? For some, the fear of rejection is so intense that it stops them from even trying, whether it's asking someone out, applying for a job, or just voicing a mere opinion in a group. Because let's face it, guys, people can be quite judgmental. Now, the fear of hearing no becomes a barrier that limits our potential and holds us back from living a full life, right? Now, consider a person who hesitates to applying for a dream job because they're afraid they won't be good enough, or an individual who never expresses their feelings to a crush because the thought of rejection is too painful. Now, in a relationship, this fear can lead to people staying in unfulfilling situations, afraid to leave because they don't want to face the possibility of being alone. Just an example. Now, even in social settings, the fear of rejection can cause people to withdraw, avoiding new friendships or connections because they're afraid they won't be accepted. Now, these are just a few examples of how deeply ingrained a fear of rejection can literally be in our daily lives. So today we're going to explore this topic with none other than Dolly Koghar. She's going to help us navigate through some of these examples of what it could be. And we're going to have this beautiful conversation of her on the fear of rejection. A lot of people face numerous challenges in lives, and some people letting rejection define their lives and using it as a tool for growth. A lot of people's journey is not just inspiring, but also fulfilled with valuable lessons on how we can all learn to face our fears and moving forward with confidence. So we're going to bring her onto the show, and we are going to face this conversation together and kind of go deep into the roots of why people are so afraid of this word called rejection. Okay, so like I said, today we are joined by Dolly Koghar, and we have her on our show. Hi, Auntie. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. A little nervous.
Okay, you have nothing to be nervous about. We're just going to be super informative. So I have a series of questions to ask you today, and I'm hoping that we can be very informative as possible for our listeners.
Sure, I'll try my best.
So, for my first question, what do you think are the root causes of the fear of rejection?
I would put it both as nature, which in Punjabi or Hindi is called sanskars. Mm-hmm. We are born with it, and of course, nurture.
Right. So, is it something people are born with, or does it develop over time?
Okay, there's a very something which I didn't know, but watching Shivani from Brahma Kumari,
Hanji.
she said something that stays with me.
Right.
but it's a little too late for my own 4 children.
Okay.
She said, the child in the womb is listening. So when we, which all of us do, I want a boy or I want a girl, oh, I wish it was a boy, I'm sure it's a girl, whatever. We are sending that message that we are not really welcoming you. So the child, if you were wishing for a boy and the child born is a girl, she already comes with the feeling that I'm not really wanted here, which is very, very, something very powerful that we, especially the youngsters, should keep in mind. See, our Indian philosophy says think good things, eat good things, listen to kirtan, listen to, be around people who are pleasant, walk in the garden,
Right.
be doing things that are peaceful, because you're sending that message. Don't forget the child is inside and there's a very deep connection.
Correct.
So if you're stressed and angry, and especially if the child comes not what you wanted, it's already the message. The child will be a little bit more not a peaceful child, a little difficult, maybe cranky, and they will grow up already with a feeling that I wasn't wanted. This is very deep.
So you've already created that sense of rejection before that being has already.
Yes. And also, of course, we are coming with a baggage of our past lives.
Right.
So if our last life we were rejected, failed. So some people have even as babies, they're very sensitive. You say anything
Absolutely.
and so it's, and then, of course, we have this bad habit of saying, oh, what a good boy you are, what a good girl you are when they do things. I did all the wrong things. But now on hindsight, I would highly recommend don't use this good boy, bad boy or whatever. And also don't threaten the child with, if you don't do this, I won't love you anymore. That's the worst thing we can do, because you're not equating the person with behavior. I don't like you spilling milk when you don't want it. Or I don't like you talking to the maid this way. But not, you're a bad boy. That's not the way to talk. It's not okay. So just be careful. Children learn.
Absolutely.
And any rejection from people that matter most, like parents, siblings, goes very far in
that's probably
rejection.
one of the worst kind of rejection a
you
person
stay with
can
it
have.
for life.
Especially when you are living with those same people every day in the 4 lives, and when you have rejection from those people, it can be pretty daunting.
Yes. You've come a long way. Immediate families been with you for many lifetimes.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So let's be very careful with our unborn and children.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So coming to my next question, how does the fear of rejection manifest differently in personal relationship versus personal settings?
So people who are already sensitive and in life, when they have repeated rejections and love doesn't work out, marriage doesn't work out, jobs don't work out, it aggravates that feeling that I'm just no use. So now how do they manifest it is, I think, at any age, it's same as any abuse victim. We tend to either withdraw and say, I won't touch anybody because I'm not good enough. You sort of scare away from making friends.
Right.
And then and then you can come off as very standoffish and arrogant. So people stay away from you. So, but it adds on to that, I'm not good enough anyways.
Right.
And then some people become bully targets because they're acting so lame and wimpy. So, on the other hand, you become a bully because let me push my way through. Most bullies are not people who are actually brave, right? So
they could have actually been the victim at one point, and that's the persona.
Been maybe at home abuse, or
it's like a fake brave persona that they create.
So, or normally they need chamchas around them anyway. So, and then also they succumb to peer pressure easily because they want to fit in, be accepted. See, we humans need to be validated.
Validate.
Right?
That's the word.
Yeah. So then, that peer pressure. And some might go the other pole and become overachievers, just to prove less to others than to themselves that, you know what, I'm as good as anybody. And sometimes they can be quite mean, like push away everybody so that I'm going to reach the top and be friendless.
Wow.
Right? So, and then the worst part for people who suffer rejection fear is, even if they're very successful, even if they reach the top, they somehow feel I'm not good enough. Because especially if they've had parents or close people who have said, oh, you'll never make it anywhere. So even if they do, it's never good enough. You hear of sportsmen, I don't remember names, I'm sorry, who reach the top. Dancers, musicians, but because the mother, mostly, mother is very important, just kept saying, oh yeah, the movie just now, Kala. Have you seen it?
No, I've been
Okay,
wanting
it's
to watch
worth
it.
watching. It's very dark, but it's about a daughter who wants to please her professional mom with her singing.
Right.
And she never makes it to her
Expectations.
good enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very sad, it's a very dark movie, but it's worth seeing because it's well made and real.
Wow.
Kala, Q.
So, you know how technology plays a really big role in our lives in today's generation. Do you think social media amplifies the fear of rejection?
I think social media is like a cancer. It creeps in onto you because inside of you, you know what you're seeing on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, magazines, it's been photoshopped, it's been brushed, whatever the words might be. And if you want to see any of the actresses without their makeup early in the morning in 7-Eleven, you won't look at them twice. And we have friends who, it's a disease. You keep putting everything you do on Facebook and on Insta to show how happy I am, even if you're not. And you're with some people on the table. Why don't you use that time to connect with each other? Even boyfriend, girlfriend, you're busy taking photos, how well we are dressed, what purse I'm using, what makeup I'm using, or oh, look at what I'm eating. It's the new butter bear or whatever that it's a
It's everywhere right now.
I went to the coffee bean this weekend. It's just bread and some dumb chocolate paste on top. Come on, so but we're so busy showing off, we don't live the moment. We're not being real. Nobody's that happy. Nobody in the world is always 24 hours happy.
Yeah, you can't possibly be happy 24 hours.
We can't be happy and we all having that latest LV and latest whatever doesn't do much for your happiness. So this is what it's encouraging, and it adds stress to you, because even if you're not happy, you have to pretend to be happy, and that becomes your persona, and it's stressful. It's okay to be not happy. It's stress to be moody. It's okay to dress lousy once in a while and not have full makeup on. It's okay, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, just see people like Marilyn Monroe, this Houston, George Michael.
Yeah.
Where are they? They had everything anyone would wish for. So where are they today? And the drug and the unhappiness, and you don't do drugs unless you're really unhappy. And you don't commit suicide till you've reached
a point.
Such a rock bottom that there's no more lower to go to,
Okay. So how do you think cultural or societal norms contribute to the fear of rejection? Are certain groups prone to this fear due to these influences?
Very much so. Just for us, Indian society, a mother with too many girls behaves very differently from a mother with sons.
Oh, that's
we are made to feel inferior. Something is missing, and girl children are from the now maybe less so. We all celebrate children equally. But back in our days or even earlier, if you had a girl child, people didn't say congrats. They said, oh, never mind, next time. Why do I need the next time? Why is that girl child not good enough? You see, and then some women couldn't have children for whatever reasons. Okay, both whether your children are more girls or whether the wife can't have children, it could very well be the fault of the male.
Absolutely.
The gender is based on the male sperm.
Chromosome. Yeah, right? Exactly.
And then if she can't have children, back then we didn't have so much scientific tests and all that to test. But what about if it's you who's not having the children and not your wife? They're very fast to get the second, third wife.
Yeah.
For either a boy child or to have children. So that's not being fair to the woman. You're under that stress that it's my fault. And then girls need to be pretty, fair. The guy can be whatever. And then, people like the blacks, I mean, they're fighting for their rights, but they're always treated as second-class citizens.
Right.
Why? Just because they're black? And even girls who are a little darker, I mean, now things are changing, but, that either they don't get married or they get married to some older person or something wrong with the guy because she's black. Why? Why, right? It's not defines who you are. So, yes, these cultural norms do add on to the feeling of rejection. If I'm born dark, somebody's already going to say, "Ayete kali," right?
Yeah.
So I'm already feeling I'm just not good enough. And if you're born short or maybe with a facial deformity or maybe a limp on one leg,
just that insecurity can really damage.
It's of course
a lot of a person's mental well-being as well.
So you already feel I'm just not good enough, so you won't pick up maybe you have other talents that you don't even tap into because I'm not good enough.
Wow.
And it's very important we don't instill this in our kids, like, look at the neighbor, oh my God, look at that children, where they've reached, and look where you are. Don't do that. We don't know their talents. We don't know who they're going to become. Bill Gates is a school dropout, right? So so let's just... Yeah, so, I mean, so is Einstein, I think. He was a lousy student. And we women are made to feel like we are second-class citizens. Leave aside what we look like.
Yeah.
More so earlier. Nowadays, I mean, I'm happy that you girls are educated and pushing your way through in all fields. But somehow, especially in our Asian community, we're always made to feel don't outshine your spouse because you don't want to put him lagging behind you. So women who are very successful have a problem with their marriages because it's difficult for most men to say, oh, she can be earning more or ahead of me in her whatever she does. So it's not quite fair.
I don't think so. No. Because if you notice, like a lot of powerful women in the world today, that they are far more out there than their husbands or their men.
Because we women are forced to work harder.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about me, I don't work, I'm sorry. But they're forced to work harder just to prove themselves against all the odds they have to face.
The societal norms that has been
including
fed.
The pay. You see, most women don't get paid even if they're in the same positions. And in Japan, any woman who starts any office work is first made to start by serving tea to everybody. Ocha, not the Indian tea, not the masala tea, which is a pot with hot water and just bags. But she starts from there. The men don't.
There's so much to think about. But if you take rejection, if facing rejection head on, do you think it's a beneficial outcome?
No. Because anybody who suffers from fear of rejection is already very low on self-confidence.
Is there a way to come out of it?
And to prove yourself is risky
That much harder?
That much more than harder. Even if you succeed, you still might think I failed. I
How
could have
does
done
one.
better. I could have done
But how
better.
does one change that perception of themselves? In due time, at least.
Uh, See, one is like any abuse
Right.
victim. You need to accept that I do have this problem
Mm.
and seek help. But it's strange that people who come from abusive families tend to gyrate towards abusive people. They marry abusive spouses, they'll find friends that put them down, make them feel lousy because you think this is what I'm worth. I'm only worth to be abused, to be hit, to be talked to badly, to be given jobs that are not good enough for other people. So it's a very almost an impossible well to climb out of, especially if the trauma is from childhood. See, some people suddenly become fear of rejection because, oh, they failed in their marriage or they lost 2, 3 jobs in a row. So it's much later in life. But for people who are exposed to it, maybe even in the womb or in childhood, where the parents keep saying, why can't you be better? Why can't you be good? Why can't you do this? So nowadays they're giving that positive input, that give the child a positive, let's do this, rather than saying, why can't you do this?
Yeah.
You understand? When you say why can't means I can't. So I will say, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. It's too hard. But can we becomes like, okay, we're in this together. So for people like this, it's very important. It has to be a conscious effort to avoid people. You will notice they somehow head towards people who are not nice to them because it's become a habit.
So coming out.
So coming out, surround yourself with people who see you for who you are. Doesn't need to, not chamchas who say, oh my God, you're great, you're wonderful. That's what actors suffer from. They're not great people. But they need that,
That oomph, that push.
someone to keep
Yeah.
blowing your balloon
Yeah.
higher and higher. So, but you need to surround and listen to pleasant music. Don't go for this. Don't see movies that are dark. And very important that you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, I have this another day, and the sun, open your curtains. Let the sun shine in and breathe in deep. See all these things, learn breathing, learn yoga, meditate. Get in touch with yourself that can't hurt, can't get pain. You have that inside of you. But to reach that, it's a lot of work. Not everybody reaches.
Do you say it could be self-realization?
Self-realization is very far away. First, get rid of the pain.
Okay.
Self-realization is a far, far cry from getting rid of the pain. See, the pain is so intense. You can't even get past that. Every morning, to some people, it's like, why am I even awake? Why didn't I just not wake up? Some people, it's really tough getting up out of that bed in the morning. You have to force yourself. That's why find things that interest you. Find hobbies that take you away from a tense job or a tense home atmosphere. See, not all of us can get away from our families that may be negative. We can't get out of the job because that's all you have. Maybe the boss is really mean and putting you down every day. So not everybody can get out of a situation. And if you're just a child and your parents are abusive, you can't just walk out. Where are you going to go?
You're just stuck in that vicious cycle and loop.
But if you can, always surround yourself with positive people. Get up in the morning, push that curtain aside. Don't let the sunshine in. Go take a walk, bare feet in the garden.
Breathe it in.
Take in the earthing. Do your earthing. Ground yourself. You are part of this earth that's stable enough in spite of all the mess we've created. So do earthing. Get in touch with Mother Earth. Get in touch with yourself. Spirituality is important, not religion. Okay, do this. Let's do this part and mug it up. No, God understands every language. He understands where you're coming from. He understands what you're feeling. Just talk. Talk at night, talk in the morning. Very important, seva. Get that attention away from poor me.
And give.
Give. And where you will go, you will see how much worse those people are, where they're coming from. These war victims, abused children, orphans. Go somewhere, the dogs on the street, those pounds.
Yeah.
Abused cats. When you see others, you have to stop introspecting. Oh, my life is so miserable and I'm such a useless fool and I'll never be good at anything. You need to get out of that, seeing that black dot on that white sheet.
It's like
snap out of it.
Playing victim.
Yes. No, you are a victim. But to keep seeing that as my identity or as my faith, you might never get out of it, because it's not a habit. It's a habit formed from being a wound.
It's kind of a reality that they've already chosen for themselves and they don't want to go past that.
Yeah, because there's a wound, it hurts.
Yeah.
And that wound isn't going to go away if it's really
They're not willing
deep.
to stitch it, basically.
No, you are. But it's a wound that won't go away. See, a cesarean, the scar stays. And sometimes it tickles.
Yeah.
I have one. And once
Me
in
too.
a while, yes. So once in a while you feel that tick, tick, tick.
That tingling feeling.
Yeah, so then that
I understand.
fear of rejection is never, ever going to go away. I'm not going to give anybody that false hope. It will stay with you. But you need to say, this is not who I am. This does not define me. I am... See, if you get in touch with your inner self, yoga, tai chi, do exercises that are calming and stilling, breathing. See, you need to find that space inside of you where it's not affected by what's going on around you. See, none of us have perfect lives. But there is a place inside of you that can't be touched. So to find that place is important. Now, whether it's prayers does it for you, soft music does it for you, and don't watch violent movies, please. Violent, dark movies, we think, oh, it's okay, it's a movie, I know, but it stays. So try to make your life a little more pleasant. Surround yourself with people who are nice. Even your food habits, try to be a little bit more, how do you say, many of us can start eating a lot because we are trying to, anyway, I'm fat. What difference will it make? Let me enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And then you go into this anorexic and bulimia, whatever. Yeah. So it's all signs of being rejected. See, Diana was rejected. Her husband wanted another woman.
Right.
And what didn't Diana have? She's beautiful, talented, whatnot.
Yeah.
Why did she have a eating disorder? No need. It's just fear of rejection. She was perfect in every way. What's the problem?
Wow.
So, yeah, so this rejection is not as, the word is very deep. It just dissipates who you are and can be. So be careful with the children. Be careful with how you address people. Because some people take it more personally because they're already prone to it. See, some people you can say whatever and who cares? But some people, it will stay with them for life.
Oh, I'm sure.
So be very careful how you treat people, whatever age, whatever status, whether they be your staff, whether they be your working under you, whether your driver, treat people with respect.
See, my motto in life is that treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is all about at the end of the day. You want to be treated nicely, you treat someone nicely.
And we humans need to be validated. If the cook is cooked a nice dish, say it.
Yeah.
We only complain, oh, วันนี้ไม่อร่อยนะ วันนี้เกลือเยอะไป วันนี้ไม่อร่อยเลย
แต่วัน
But
ที่อร่อยอ่ะ
do we ever say, oh, วันนี้อร่อย
Yeah.
วันนี้น้ำชาดำจัง วันนี้นมเยอะจัง But do we say, okay, วันนี้ดีมาก Do it.
Yeah.
See, this comes under seva. When you walk out, just smile at the guard. Tell the taxi guy, how are you? No harm done.
No harm done.
Yeah. but you will feel a little better.
And I'm sure the person
Yes.
also
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
that much
Yeah.
better. Somebody cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just small things, small things. And if you have your grandchildren at home, don't give them money. Just give them a little hug. Say, have a nice day. They'll skip out a little lighter.
Okay. All right. So we're about to come to an end of our show with just a few more questions for Auntie Dolly. And what I really want to know is that some people argue that the fear of rejection can be a good thing as it pushes people to improve themselves. What is your take on this?
Some people who have this fear of rejection, in fact, the deeper, the more they're already overachievers.
Okay.
Because they need to prove to themselves and to whoever, maybe if there's one particular person who's, maybe it's a spouse who says, oh, you're good for nothing, you're good for nothing. So beyond that, the problem with such people is they themselves don't accept that I've reached a point of good enough. So I don't know whether that word of improving yourself applies to people who, again, it depends how deep, how affected, how bruised they are. I would like to use that word.
So it's quite situational.
Yes. And
Okay.
maybe on top, see, not everybody will tell you, or you can see. Some of them cover their lives pretty well. You won't know they're victims. So they may be very successful, overachievers, and you think, oh wow, okay. But inside of them,
Yeah, you don't know what they could be going through.
that pain, I think, lasts a lifetime.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So do you think like well, is there ever a situation where avoiding rejection is more important than risking it?
Yes. If someone says, come, let's have a drinking bout, and don't do it. It's not worth
Of course,
it.
not a good option, not a good
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
No, even otherwise, let's reach Everest first or whatever. Just forget it.
Okay.
You might lose, then it'll add on to the fact that, oh, see, I lost anyways.
So you think that the fear of rejection will always remain
Yes,
in a person,
I personally definitely.
and you don't
so.
think there's a way to
There's a way to reduce
it?
Again,
yeah. But it will never go away 100%.
It's a deep wound. That's
Yeah.
why, again, that thing comes up. How long ago did it start? Were you rejected even in the womb? Then were you perpetually abused as a child? Or was it random sometimes? Did you in school get bullied? Did you get a spouse who was a bully or an abuser? See, it there's no one answer. It can't. It's not one shoe fits. It can't.
Yeah.
This is very, very, and we're talking about past lives. So we have no idea how far, how deep that rejection has been coming along with this particular soul. So no, I wouldn't. But one, I think the two, three, what I really, really feel, and no harm done, it can only help, is see, even finding a psychiatrist or someone. I'm not sure nowadays. It's just sometimes that need to talk brings up too much junk. And what's the past is the past. So I'm not sure this theory works where you
Right.
you go and thrash it out and let's face it. I'm not sure that's a correct way. I might be changing what psychiatrists are supposed to be doing. But it's important that you have to make that effort, that I'm not going to let this drag me down. And things like that is spirituality, finding good friends around you, finding good people, positive people, I wouldn't say good, positive people around you. Force yourself to face the day. Don't give up, oh, it's going to be another lousy day, oh, I'm anyway going to not get anywhere. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
I have a day ahead of me. I am going to make this a good day for me. Open that window, let the sun shine in. Even if it's raining, just stick your hand out and take in those drizzles and hear those birds. Get in touch with nature. Stop walking the malls. It makes you feel even more, I don't have this and I wish I had that, and I wish I had the money to get that new purse I see. Oh wow, look, everybody's dressed so nicely, look at me. You try to avoid places and people who make you feel um, uh, less. Okay, that's
Less.
what I would use.
Okay.
And go meet people who are less. Go do seva. If you're not good with people, go to the dog pound, do something. And see people who are less than you. Look down, don't look up. And seva, and very, very important, get up with gratitude. Even if I did poo today, be in gratitude. If you didn't do poo 3 days, you'd know where you'd be. Yes. So simple things. Oh, I'm up. I can get up myself. I don't need assistance. I'm showering myself. I'm putting the spoon in my own mouth. I'm sitting in my own house. I have people sitting with me. I'm not in an old age home. There's a lot to be
thankful
in
for
gratitude
also.
for.
Yes.
So the funny part is, once you find things to be thankful for, you see less of what's not there. Make it a habit. If you need to write it down, go ahead. Make 2 columns. This I don't have and this I have. And keep doing this every day. The column of what you have will eventually be more. And look for it. We have a habit of looking at that black dot. Oh, this wall is not perfect. There's a damage. Don't.
So it's about being content.
But you can't be content because you don't like yourself. It's a very tough battle we are fighting here. You don't like yourself. What do you want to be content about? It's an uphill battle. And it will not go away. But you can rise above it. Seva, gratitude, spirituality, breathing, yoga, positive people, and find something that distracts you from this ongoing train of how useless I am, and I'm sure nothing I do will ever make any sense. I'll always be such a failure. We do this with our head the whole time. The running commentary and negative. Stop that by doing things. That's where meditation helps. That's where yoga, because you can't think when you're doing yoga. You stay in the moment. And do things that you like, painting, drawing, running, jogging, do whatever.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for coming on to my show and giving our listeners a lot to think about what you've just said. And thank you for being as open as you could be with our listeners. And do you have anything else you want to say to our listeners today?
There is hope. Don't give up on yourself. We all are actually created equal and perfect. Find that space inside.
Wow. That was definitely a very super insightful conversation with Dolly Koghar, who kind of reminded us that rejection is not the end, but rather a stepping stone into something much greater. It's important to remember that every no brings us much closer to a yes. Facing the fear of rejection, I think about resilience, self-awareness, and kind of understanding that our worth is not determined by others, whether they accept us or not. That's their problem, not yours, really. So as I wrap up today's episode, I do encourage you to take that leap. Apply for the job, ask that question, face your fears, and I think you will finally see how it transforms your life. So thank you for listening to Aman's Unfiltered, and I hope this supercharged episode was something you wanted to hear. And again, if you guys feel that you have a very important issue or a topic you guys want to talk about, you guys are always most welcome to reach out to me. By now, you already know how to reach me. So until next time, do stay fearless, stay true to yourself, of course, and keep asking the questions. This is your host, Amanpreet Kalra.